They didn't wait long to make Halloween 5. After the financial success of Part 4, they rushed the next one into theaters no more than a year later, and it shows. The subtitle is The Revenge of Michael Myers. It's on all the posters, but not on the actual title screen. I'm not sure who he's getting revenge on anyway. It begins with a recap from Part 4, showing Michael being shot a gazillion times and falling down the mine shaft. I never considered that a conclusive death, but wait, this time they throw a stick of dynamite down there? Well, if you would have shown me that before, I would have accepted it. As expected, Michael escapes and lives with a hermit for an entire year before he wakes up from a deep sleep and kills the poor guy. The entire setup to Michael's niece Jamie being the new killer is completely ignored. Some people would say it would have been strange to have a little girl being the killer for a whole movie, but Michael began his killings at a young age. All it meant was that she was destined to grow up the same way as her uncle. But this idea got flushed down the shitter. Jamie is now traumatized and being treated in a children's mental hospital. She's having nightmares about her uncle and shares some kind of psychic link with him. It's not explained very well, and it's not a very original idea either. In the beginning of Halloween 4, she's having the same kind of nightmares, which in itself was strange because she had never met her uncle yet. I guess it's all about the telepathic link, but it never really pays off. The whole movie we're supposed to root for her, and we do. Danielle Harris does a great job once again, but I still can't get out of my head that Jamie killed her stepmother. Are we supposed to forget about that? Nobody thinks she might do something like that again? Rachel, who is the only other likable character from Part 4, is killed off early in the film when Michael stabs her with scissors. Donald Pleasence is still good as always. Some would say his performance comes off as being tired, but that's the way I'd imagine Dr. Loomis would be after all this time. I think he delivers one of his best lines since the first movie.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him.
But unfortunately, not even Donald Pleasence can save the rest of the movie. The new characters suck. That's the best way I can put it. They're ditzy, stupid, and annoying.
I'm never sensible if I can help it!
All they do is play pranks on each other. The gags wear old very fast. It goes on and on and on. The cops show up just in time to save a girl from being stabbed by Michael Myers, but the mask comes off and it's just some dumb fuck playing a joke. The police officers are pointing guns at you and you think it's funny? Notice how after the cops realize it's a joke, they still never lower their guns. After this scene, we're given a false build-up where Michael Myers is closing in for a kill, but surprise, it's another prank.
Oh my God!
This time, it was extremely predictable because we've already seen it before. Also, I think it really starts to undermine Michael's true presence. When he's around, now we don't even care as much because it could just be some other trickster. It's all built around cliches. Once all the characters are disposed of, the focus goes back to Jamie and Michael Myers, and then the movie starts to salvage itself a little. I like the part where she's in the laundry chute and when Dr. Loomis is talking to Michael. But there's still many ridiculous moments, like when Michael chases Jamie in a car. Even when driving, he really takes his time. The final chase ends up at the Myers house, but now it looks absolutely nothing like it did in the first movie. What happened? It's just like the Frankenstein castle, always changing. Maybe it was a tribute. Let's talk about Michael a little bit. His mask looks way scarier than it did in Part 4, but I still disagree with the choice to use such a large man to play him. One thing unusual is that you actually see his true face, twice. The first time is in the beginning when he's in the hermit's house. It's a background shot, but you can clearly see him unmasked. The second time is a touching moment near the end when Jamie calls him Uncle.
Uncle?
He takes off his mask, and yes, it's kind of dark, but you can still see the face. I remember back in the day, I used to pause this shot to get a good look. The VHS version must have been darker because back then I couldn't see a thing. The close-up of his eye shedding a tear is strange because his eyes were shot out in Part 2, And after all the abuse he's been through, I don't think he should have looked so perfect. Then you see another shot where you can briefly see his face in the light. He looks just like an ordinary guy. I still say he should have been like a zombie. Oh, would that have been too much like Jason Voorhees? Well, who came first now? Dr. Loomis takes Jamie as bait. I know he's got to do whatever he can to get Michael Myers, but this is really out of character for him.
Get her! Get the little girl, that little girl!
Whoa, he's gone insane. He drops a chain net on Michael, he shoots him with tranquilizer darts, and whacks him repeatedly with a wooden plank. There's an odd moment where he collapses next to him. Looks like he's about to kiss him. Then Michael ends up in jail, still wearing the mask. What prison would leave a mask on a criminal? I know the filmmakers just don't want to show his face, but they already did. And besides, they could leave the prison cell dark or shoot it in a way that you don't see his face, but whatever. A guy in black approaches the jailhouse. Now, let me back up and explain. All throughout the movie, we've seen this guy walking around. He's never been identified. He happens to have a symbol of a thorn on his wrist. Michael has the same thorn, and we also see it on the walls in the background. What does it mean, and should we even care? So this guy in black breaks into the cell. We see his silhouette in the window, which would have been more appropriate for Dick Tracy. Jamie walks into the blown-out prison room completely unattended and finds that Michael is on the loose again, and that's the end. I don't think there is any reason to end the movie this way. When Michael was sitting in that cell, the police officer said that they'll keep him there till he dies.
He'll never die.
That is chilling enough and would have been a fine way to close the movie. It would have left open the possibility of a sequel, but by having him break out made it more sudden and urgent. Now there has to be a sequel. Who's the guy in black? There were thoughts that maybe it was Michael's twin brother, but nobody knew, not even the writers. Seriously. So if they didn't have a good plan, what was the point of opening the lid? Since we know how they abandoned the last cliffhanger, why should we even give a shit about this one? Halloween 5 is one of the weaker sequels. This is the first of the series that I simply don't recommend.